This is a work of fiction. Any names, locations, or actions that take place during our live play are merely a coincidence. The year is 1992. The Hubble Space Telescope is just starting its voyage in the stars. America is just coming off the Cold War, and we are just now seeing the early development of the World Wide Web. We find ourselves in the small Midwestern town of Sharpsville, Indiana, home of the world's largest reclining chair. This is a small town you'd drive through on your way to another place. You'd almost forget it if you were listening to the radio or playing your Nintendo Game Boy. Most of its residents live in a small section of town where all the streets are connected. As you drive into the center of town, past City Hall and the police department, you will find Sharpsville Plaza, home to local businesses such as Pat's Pharmacy, Sharpsville Auto, and The Barber Shop. If you drive down Main Street, you'll find both schools, Sharpsville Elementary and Sharpsville High, home of the Sharpsville Wombats, fourth place soccer team in the district. Past this, you come to Route 64, where you find a few staples: the Circle K gas station, a combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, and America's favorite burger, McDonald's. Along with these, there is Sharpsville's biggest business, JF Transportation. Past the JF Transportation building, you can find the Wellspring Slopes, a closed-down ski resort nestled into a small hill. If you've ever been skiing, you'll probably understand why it's closed down. While on the outside of this speed bump of a town, it looks ordinary. The townsfolk have been experiencing a series of sleepless nights. Everyone in town hasn't gotten a good night's sleep in weeks. Everyone knows, but no one is willing to accept that something supernatural may be happening to this small town. Or so we thought. We pan the camera to a young individual, Danny of 15. Danny, hello, welcome. What is Danny doing currently, and where is he at?
Um,
This would be about,
I'm sure
well,
that
they.
all of us will make that mistake.
Yes.
But where are they? What time of day is it? I suppose that's an important question.
It's a little after lunch. It's about 1:30
Okay. Um.
on a this would be a this would be a weekend, so
Oh,
probably
this is a
Saturday, so
weekend. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um. Well, they probably work on the weekend,
Sure.
so they're probably like running the matinee at the theater.
Yeah, the Sharpsville Theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of yeah, it's this kind of small local place, probably only like 3 or 4 different rooms,
Mm-hmm.
if that,
Oh man,
right
what
off
movies
of
came
the
out in '92?
uh I'll tell you what, there's some good ones.
Oh boy.
For
Oh
sure.
my god. Oh yeah, no, The Mighty Ducks. That's what's playing.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
definitely the Mighty Ducks is playing right
Mm-hmm.
now.
That Emilio Estevez, he's gonna be a star.
Ooh, and Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah, I saw that
Shit.
too. I was like, what? Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
Newsies.
Batman Returns.
Ooh, nice.
Ala- Wait a minute.
Hold
Wow,
on a minute.
really? Aladdin came out in 1992, huh? There we go.
That makes
Hello, this
sense.
is a podcast.
No, that makes sense to me.
And so, as your what's your demeanor like when you work? Is
They kind
Danny
of just they sit in the back room and run, obviously run the picture.
right?
And the first time they're on the picture, they watch it. But then this is probably several times after that, especially if and it's a matinee. So they're just drawing in the sketchbook.
Nice. And
Um,
yeah, like I said, you've been having some sleepless nights. It's been a few weeks. You decide how you feel, but most of the people around you are irritable at best.
okay. Yeah. I'm probably not loving it. Uh,
Okay, okay.
I'm trying to decide how they would. Everything's probably just more like acute. In fact, I might be dozing
Right.
off in front of my. I'm even more sensitive to loud noises and stuff like that, and I'm probably like dozing off in front of my sketchbook. May get a big ink stain on my cheek.
Right, right. And as we kind of get to know Danny a little further, the camera pans to Karen. Would you like to describe what it is you're doing currently and
All
how you
right.
feel about these sleepless nights, if you will?
Well, Karen uh is standing at the concession stand, and she is with her family. They're gonna go see the Mighty Ducks. They're super excited about it. That Emilio Estevez, he is going to be a star. I guarantee it. Uh, now, darling, can I please speak to the manager, because my friend my son Jimmy, he only eats raisinets, and I don't see any raisinets in your display case. Um, so if I could just speak to a manager really quickly, please. I would appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Uh,
Yeah, hold on, ma'am. The young concession stand
Who
individual
sounds like he's been
walks
smoking a pack a day for 40 years.
a little bit. Yeah, he
he's a little baked.
Yeah.
he walks in. He walks into the back room, passes you, and looks over. You know him as Jimmy Wolf.
Okay.
Pretty standard high schooler. You guys are probably in a couple of the same classes. He's taller, plays sports. He normally wears his Letterman jacket, but right now he's in like the Sharpsville movie theater outfit, which is like probably like a black apron with like a weird like
He's got a
multicolored.
doofy ass red and white like paper hat on. So he's working
Yeah,
concessions.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he says hi and immediately goes into a room over where he has a conversation with the manager. It's kind of muffled, and you don't hear anything. But then another individual comes out. Her name is Joy Bradford, and she doesn't give a shit about this job. She's the manager who's just like, she's been over it for like years, but it's the only job she's got. uh she usually is in the back like taking a nap. It's why your job is fairly easy on most days. And she kind of is like like grumbling as she kind of like sluggishly walks over to the concession stand. uh Karen, we go over this every time. We're not gonna get raisins for this is not...
Raisinets, as I've said the last few times, my son was very excited. There's going to be a new trailer for some oh my goodness, dinosaur film. And I worry that the longer we stand here, we're not going to make it. And let me tell you, if we miss this, I will demand to speak to your manager. So get me raisinets, or I can't help myself.
Ma'am, we don't have any raisinets. The best I can do is give you some raisins from the lunchroom, but that was my snack for today. You realize that, right, Karen?
If you give me those raisins and a free box of M&Ms, then we will consider ourselves settled.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to roll we're gonna call this a charm
douchebag
roll.
check.
Yeah, charm roll difficulty of 7. She's not having this conversation. She's very frustrated.
That is a 7 on the dot. So
all right. So Karen, fine. And she walks away from hands, grabs her little like it's like in a Ziploc bag. Like, she should not be giving this to you. Like, this totally is against like whatever corporate would have to say about this. She hands you that and then slides you a coupon for like a half, like 50% off of your next small popcorn.
And the M&Ms, dear.
This is the best I can do for you right now, Karen. Enjoy the movie. And she walks away, and then the guy kind of walks back into, and he kind of calls over your shoulder, next.
All right, I grab it and I grab onto the hand of my son, and we walk in to go see the Mighty Ducks and find my family, who we sent in ahead of us to choose seats for us. So
Yeah. And
Oh
then,
yeah, you had to
so
choose seats.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
1992 was a weird time, man.
It's a fucking period piece, guys.
Yeah. So the camera pans back, and both Karen and Danny, you're trying to remember why you're having such terrible nights of rest. And it's like a nightmare that you can never remember when you wake up. The only thing you can remember is a name, something that repeated itself over and over, almost like in a chant like manner, and the verbiage that you heard was Inaru. And so that's all you have to go on. Danny, I think, given your conspiracy theorist background, if you will, there's
Mhm.
definitely more to this than meets the eye. Karen, you know that your kids have been complaining about the restless nights, and they've said this name over and over again to you. And they've been very fussy lately. The drives to school are very quiet or very confrontational. Dinner has just been a mess.
Just to clarify, I've been hearing this name as well, or is it
Correct.
just my kids? Okay.
You've been hearing it, but your kids have also been talking about it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's why we're at the movies today, actually.
Okay.
It's just try to get everyone's mind off of it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, see a nice Emilio Estevez flick. He's Martin Sheen's son, you know.
Name drop.
And
Good name drop. Good name drop.
yeah, so we go in and we're just kind of enjoying the movie and eating raisins, even though that's totally unacceptable because you have to have raisinets at the movie theater. Everyone knows this.
Everyone knows this.
And we do actually get that Jurassic Park trailer, so Jimmy is very excited.
Nice.
So-
Nice. Yes.
So, I probably keep a calendar track over when I've cited these government agents coming to town.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is since the restless nights have begun, like, is there any
Yeah.
intersection with, like, should I expect to see them soon? Should they already be here? How long have we been like this?
So it's a little hazy. It's I would say it's clockwork. It comes around the same time, but let's do a brains check, difficulty of 4, to
Okay.
see if you can kind of piece that information together.
15.
Nice. Oh yeah. You know that Agent Barnes, the man that you've been kind of tailing every time he comes into town,
Mhm.
he's coming tomorrow. Like, if all of your forecasting that you've done is correct, he should be there tomorrow. At the police department, same time, same place. He has a conversation with the, I would say, officer, although he's probably more the sheriff. There really isn't like a huge police force in town, but his name is Officer Hamilton. You're familiar with him. He's he's an adult. He doesn't take most kids or teenagers very seriously, which is probably, you've probably had some like minor altercations in the past, like him telling you to move along and do
Yeah,
stuff depending on
I
what
probably
news you
tried to
get
ask
into.
him for information early on.
Yeah, and he's
But he-
so unhelpful.
Yeah, I'd probably brush me off.
Yeah, he's the absolute worst.
Does Agent Barnes come with other people?
Not no. He comes in his black like Cadillac. It seems to be like his car's never changed. His outfit's always the same. He's always wearing like a trench coat, which is kind of off uh on the second part of the year that he because he shows up in the
Mm.
summer and it's way too hot to be wearing a trench coat, but he wears it anyways. Um, but yeah, he also doesn't give you a whole lot of information, but you know that he's gonna be coming around the bend soon.
Okay.
That being said, um, at this point, I will give the floor to you guys. One thing that is going to be kind of interesting, and we'll bring it up, prior to this. How is it that the two of you, or I guess Karen rather, how is it
Yeah.
that how do you react to this word, this weird thing, um, at all? Like, uh, I assume
Um.
with the fact that it's disrupting your kids that you care at least a little bit about it, but tell me like to what extent that takes you.
Yeah. Remind me how long this has been going on.
Couple weeks.
Okay. So I think like initially Karen like she she thinks that the name sounds familiar just because like she heard her kids talking about it, and so she initially thought that this was like a big funny thing, like a big trick they were pulling on them, and it's like, oh, they're all pretending to have the same name in the dream, and like there's like half a chance that she might have heard it herself, but she's also equally convinced that um what's the word, she's equally convinced that like, how do I want to say this, she's equally convinced that it could just be that she heard her kids talking about it enough that she just imagines that she dreamt about it. But as the weeks go on, it seems to be impacting her kids in different ways. Her oldest, Charles, isn't practicing as much as he used to be practicing, which is, concerning because his music is his life. Verve seems to not be hanging out with her friends as much. Um, and Jimmy just seems to be pushing the boundaries even further and further. And it kind of reaches ahead on this day, or it reached ahead a couple of days ago, where Jimmy comes up to her and kicks her really hard in the legs like a couple of times, and she goes, What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And his response is, "Inaru told me to." Um, and at this point, it's really starting to concern her. So, she calls up her friend, who she decides that she's going to call her friend from college, who is a child psychologist, to find out what was going on, or what would cause something like this, what this reaction would be like. Is it common for kids to all share a similar dream? Like, is this Jimmy acting out for other reasons and blaming it on a name that he heard his brothers and sisters saying? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
you call up your friend and we'll call her Monica Bonner.
Okay.
She's been doing this for a while. She's your go-to for any kind of child behavior question. You guys talk like you have a wine night like every Thursday or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and so you give her a ring and you kind of describe what's going on, and she sounds confused. I mean, I've heard of kids having nightmares, but all three of them, and they're the same? Are you pulling my leg, Karen? There's no Karen. Come on.
you you know I joke about a lot of things, but the safety of my children is not one of them.
You do have a point on that one. Well, gosh, I don't know. I mean, are other people experiencing this? Maybe there's more. I don't know. Did you guys did are you guys involved in another theft from the Hendersonville? Are, is there something going on? I know you told me the last time when you stole the big what was it, a shower cap or what was it?
Shower curtain,
Shower,
shower
yeah.
rod.
Is there something going on in that town? Are you guys getting up to trouble again?
I mean, I think I might have heard the name myself, but
You
this
heard the
is
name.
um I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible that you hear your kid saying a name enough, and it starts to creep into your own mind as well. But uh, then I'm at the store the other day, and then I hear the cashier talking to one of her friends about hearing a dream about this, and then they're about the same age as my Charlie, um, and and then
Karen,
next.
I don't mean to stop you, but have you thought to go to therapy? This sounds a lot more serious than what I initially thought this was. I didn't realize that you were also hearing this. If you're hearing it everywhere, I seriously suggest you go find some help. I'm worried about you.
No, I don't think there's anything like that. I think it might just be kids being kids, you know. But thank you, Monica. It's a pleasure as always to talk to you. And then I
And
hang up.
then yeah, you get cut off like as she's about like midway to say Karen. And yeah, she probably calls a couple times after that, but you don't respond. Um, but yeah, what does Karen do now?
I think Karen goes and talks to Charles and asks him to explain exactly what he sees or exactly what he hears in these dreams. And she like has a mental note of what it is for her as well, but she's trying really hard to hide this fact. She's still not 100% convinced that it's just not she heard her kids saying the name enough that those things kind of creep in when you're sleeping.
Sure.
She's trying really hard to pretend like she's not also having the dreams. So
Sure. So, I'm gonna need you to make a charm roll, difficulty of 10. Um,
oh boy.
this it's talking to your kids, and it's talking about a very, very, this is kind of complicated. You're also experiencing some emotions.
That's another 7.
Another 7. Well, you failed, so take a
Yeah.
adversary point or adversity point. Um,
Cool.
but it's okay. It Charles just kind of I just I just keep hearing the name, and look, I'm and Charles is he's the oldest one. He's the one that's
Yeah, he's 16.
yeah. So he takes this as you're upset with how he's been reacting. So the way he responds, he's like, "Mom, I'm real sorry. I'll go back to lessons. I'll shape up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to upset you." And
Where did Have you heard this name before the dreams? Like,
uh, well, there's a there's a kid at school. Um, he was asking about it. I wasn't gonna take it seriously, but his you know him. It's Steve Workman. He's a he's I think he's friends with a couple of the other, couple of other people like Brianna and maybe Danny. Charles shrugs. Um, but
well,
yeah, they all kind of like that, that weird stuff, like the
and
horror movies and stuff.
this Steve Workman works at the movie theater, yes?
Um, he shrugs. I don't know.
I think that's the last place I saw him. Thank you, Charles. Mommy loves you, and I give him an embarrassing kiss on the cheek.
Mom,
Um,
and he tries to like press you off, but you manage to plant a big one right on his cheek. It's very
And then
cute.
when so even though I was there earlier in the day, I go back to the movie theater to try to see if I can find Steve Workman. So
Um, so yeah, you go up, and the same kid who is running the register, Jimmy. Um, I'm sure you know his parents. You probably don't know him very well. But he kind of like you can tell like right as you're coming up, he rolls his eyes. And can I help
I
you?
slam my hands
And
on
I'm sorry. What's your last name again? I'm so unprofessional right now.
Jones.
Jones.
No,
Okay,
it's cool.
that's right.
It's
Sharon
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What can I help you with, Miss Jones? Mrs. Yeah, Mrs. Jones."
I slam my hands on the table. I'm like, I need to speak to Steve Workman right now.
uh, Steve Workman isn't working today. I don't know when his next shift is, but
Oh,
I think
fine.
I think.
Brianna or Danny or anyone.
Oh, yeah, Danny's in the back. Hold on. He looks um yeah, no, I think he's gonna do it. You're an adult, and he's not quite as rebellious as some of these other teens. So he
It's one of
goes,
them good
he,
teens.
he's one of them good teens. Very rare, coming from experience. Um, he walks into the back room where you've dozed off again, Danny.
Yeah,
It's been a real rough day, and
the
Jimmy
credits
goes,
for the Mighty Ducks again are rolling.
yeah, you've heard
Ugh.
this song so many times this week. You're just like, oh God, please be done. Um, and Jimmy kind of comes in very sheepishly and hey Danny, um,
No. Oh. Mm.
sorry,
Oh, Jimmy, what's going on?
Mrs. Jones wants to talk to you.
Why?
You know, Charles' mom. I don't know. He was talking about Steve Workman, and then just from your experience, there is another individual who works here, but he works very little. He probably has the bare minimum amount of hours here, and he is definitely um, he loves like horror movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
You've never, I mean, we haven't decided if you're. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. Just make a charm roll for me.
Oh boy, my best stat.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna be. There's not like a pass fail. I'm just seeing
Okay. Well, I
how
rolled a
good.
2.
Cool. Okay, so you don't know him
Nice.
very well. Um,
That
all you
checks.
know about Steve Workman is that like he's totally like a slasher flick kind of guy. He's pretty intelligent, but he's a little
Mm-hmm.
younger than you. I think he's probably like 14. For some
Okay.
reason, like he just always can like sneak into movies and stuff. He's pretty sly like that. But yeah, he's works bare minimum shifts. He probably shouldn't even be working here, but I think you overheard that he lied about his age when he tried to apply for this job. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, you kind of know this guy. You've worked with him a couple times. And so yeah, he's like, I don't know. Mrs. Jones wants to talk to Steve, but then mentioned you, and then Brianna from school. I don't think she works here, but
Yeah, Brianna doesn't.
can you talk to her for please? She's driving me
Jimmy,
crazy.
you know I hate talking to the public.
I look, I know, but she asked for you very specifically. I can't call Steve.
And they start fiddling with like one of the pen caps and like wiping a bit of
Sure.
that ink stain off, and like I pop the pen cap off and put it back on, and I'm like, okay, okay, fine, but if I do this, then when they send us home early because there's nobody here, I get to go.
Of course, of course. I'll anything that needs to happen, you go first. I'll do the rest.
Okay.
And he like he kind of he lowers his tone and goes, thank you. And he kind of sits down in the back as you.
Okay. I take his doofy red and white hat and put it on and walk out.
Yeah.
There's still a big
So, Karen,
ballpoint pen ink stain on my face,
definitely.
and I walk out to the no doubt immaculately styled Mrs. Jones. You wanted to see me?
What? What? Uh, yeah. Um.
Do you have something to say?
What have you been? What lies have you been telling my son? What lies have you been filling into his head?
They kind of like jump back a little bit as you raise your voice. And they're like, What are you talking about? I
Listen,
don't even talk to your son. Who?
He said that it was Steve Workman and Brianna and Danny who were talking about some horror movie or something with the name in Naru or Inaratu Inu
It-
Inra
Nope.
something like
Nope.
that.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope. None of those are in any movies that we've shown.
And Danny, when she mentions that name, I don't know how often you have talked about your nightmares, but that name rings true. You've heard that name in your dreams for the past 2 weeks. It's something you cannot forget.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like carved into your brain at this point.
he is a sweet young man who has issues, and he can't be watching horror movies like that. And I don't understand why. Stop it!
Are you done?
Yes.
Can I go?
Listen? I overlooked your little art project. I even defended you for it. Every um,
What are you talking
we all
about?
need to. I lean in really close.
I
pictures
lean
in
back
your
away as
locker.
far as possible.
The pictures in your locker.
Are you spying on me?
Well, if you're trying to hide it, you're not doing a very good job. Everyone seems to know about it at your school. The parents have been talking, and of course, it's important to help those with artistic pursuits and pursue them. But I think it would be very interesting for the sheriff to know that there have been pictures taken of him without his knowledge, talking to some man in a suit every couple of months. Yes.
Trust me, the sheriff is
I
not
think he'd
interested
be
in
very.
anything that I have to say. I've tried.
All I'm saying is, you leave my son alone.
Happily.
And then I walk out. So.
Okay.
And Danny sort of rubs their arms and like takes off the plastic cap, and someone probably like comes up in line behind them and is like, "Hey, can I get some?" And they just walk away and go back to Jimmy and be like, "There's people at the concessions. They just I hand him the hat.
Is she gone?
Yes."
And he looks very like concerned. Okay. Thank you. And he goes back out to, continue his job.
Okay.
Karen, what
Yes.
is it that you plan on doing after this moment?
Gosh, like.
I have something to add if you need some time.
Of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So since this has been happening for a couple weeks, like probably the most recent pages of Danny's sketchbook are filled with like just writing the name over and over again in different ways and like turning it around and seeing if it's an anagram and seeing if it could be an acronym and what all these different things could mean. And I probably went to the library, and the people at the library know me very, very well.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ella Foreman is the head librarian. She's the only librarian, let's be honest. But she likes to call herself the head librarian.
but of course,
And but yeah, she's about in her 50s, and she's pretty strict about the rules, but like she really enjoys when you come in, and she's really happy when people are actually using the library and not like just doing it for school projects or like causing trouble. So yeah, Ella
and I
Foreman really likes you.
and I've asked for all sorts of weird books and had her use the interlibrary loan system. Literally, the only person in town who ever wants to use the interlibrary loan system.
Right.
I imagine. I have asked for all these books about like government agencies and the history of covert ops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
and she thinks you're like you're aspiring to be some kind of like FBI agent or police
hmm
officer or some
Yeah,
some kind of like law enforcement, if you will.
yeah. So I probably go there after like a couple days of this happening,
Okay.
and try and ask her if there's any books that mention this name or what it might mean.
Sure. And yeah, so you ask her, and well, Danny, asking me for a very particular name in all of the library books that we have is kind of like asking me to find a needle in a haystack.
I know.
Um,
I'm willing to help. I thought maybe you
I
had
mean,
an
yeah,
idea.
I don't have a direction, but you're not the first person to ask me about something strange that I didn't know about. Brianna over there in the back, she might be able to help you. I I'm not familiar with the name, but she she's also looking for something, some kind of weird name or something. I'm not entirely sure. And she kind of shrugs. Um, but
Okay.
if you have if there's a subject matter, I can definitely bring you to the correct place. Inaru is not enough, unfortunately. And she kind of looks very like apologetic, very sad that like I think this is probably the first time she hasn't been able to help you with something.
Mm-hmm.
So she definitely feels dejected. She also rolled an 8. So she does not have a good idea of like she doesn't even recognize the name, and
Okay.
probably not make putting two and two together about her dreams and whatnot.
So I know Brianna, right?
Yeah, she's in your grade. I think she's older than you. She's like 16.
Okay.
Um, roll a, or I don't know. She's into, she likes strange things. She likes,
How does she feel about
yeah, like
Stranger Things?
she loves if Stranger Things was out in
Not a
92,
fan.
she would have loved it. No, like she collects like butterflies, and she's really into like literature and science, and like for someone in 1992, the tropey weird stuff.
Okay.
That like she's also kind of notorious around the school, like someone you do not mess with. Like she's got a bit of a she's got some spunk. She would hit
Mm-hmm.
someone if push came to shove.
Okay.
But in terms of how well, like, her and you probably have classes with her, but you're gonna have to roll that charm roll, baby,
Oh, okay.
to see like how that
Yeah,
relationship is.
let's do it. Huh. 5, which is one less than my
5.
maximum.
There we go. Yeah, so I would say that you guys are at best like school friends. Like anytime you're at
Mm-hmm.
school, you guys will talk, but it's not like you've never been over to her house outside of
Yeah.
school or anything like
Okay.
that. So she would be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" But um
Yeah.
yeah, it would be weird if you were like, "Let's hang out," and So that being said, you look around the library, and yeah, she's in the back, and there's piles of books next to her. She's kind of like feverishly flipping through uh, pages of these books.
I just sort of like, without introducing myself, I like sit down across from her. If there's not a chair, I just pull one up, and I like put my sketchbook down and open it to the page where I've like drawn the various like ways, like every single which way I could look at this word, and then I turn it around and I push it towards her, and I say, I think this has something to do with Agent Barnes. Remember when I was telling you about the guy who always meets with the sheriff, and then you kind of walked away in the middle of the sentence? I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
and
Like, you had to go to class, I think, but
sure, I'm about to walk away now because I have to go to class again.
no, you don't.
What?
It's a
What are you?
weekend. Well,
She puts her hand into her.
Ella told me to come talk to you, and that you were looking into some stuff. Like, have you heard this name before? Uh, I
And
heard
she
my dad saying it in his sleep, and I had a dream about it. And Steve said he had a dream about it, and so did Harper. So, uh, do you know this?
and she's like, I've been looking. I haven't found anything yet, but you know what? How about if you do something for me, I'll spend my whole I'll spend my whole weekend on this and give you what I got.
Okay, what?
Um, so mean old Officer Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he confiscated my butterfly knife and I want it back.
Okay.
So could you
Why were you
go
carrying a
into the
butterfly knife?
well, because I like the way it flips open when you use it. It's cool.
That makes sense.
Plus, I want to defend myself. What if there's like a predator or like a bear?
Yeah, totally. Bears are
Yeah.
predators, though. Like, that's just kind of the same thing.
Right. Well, I meant like human predators and then bears.
Yeah, I
Animal and
know.
it
It
doesn't
was a
matter.
joke.
Oh, and she kind of like she doesn't realize that you made a joke, so she's like, "Wow, I feel
And they
dumb."
give this kind of like
Um,
forced grin.
right. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, yeah. So if you could get my butterfly knife back since like, you know, you actually know how to like get into the police station and like probably get it, like I can help you with your thing. I was actually doing a report for Mr. Houston's like biology class, but like I don't have to do that for like another week, so like I could do this. And she shrugs.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. um so yeah, you have found a quest, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get her butterfly knife back from the police department. um Make a brains check, difficulty of, we'll call this a 7.
Okay. 19?
Ooh, yeah, you know where this place is. And to top it all off, you would know how to get in and get out with very minimal interaction with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all you got to do is wait for his lunch break. He likes to go out and sit on the back of his cop car and like
And eat
have
a big
have
boy
his,
burger.
yeah, he's got a big boy burger, and like he likes to take his afternoon smoke then too. So you have plenty of time to basically go in. If you can sneak past the receptionist, his office is unlocked, and the lost, like the confiscation box where like he basically keeps all of like the contraband he takes from children is unlocked and totally easy
What
to
what
grab.
would what what information would I have about a good way to distract the receptionist? If that's too much
It's not
information
so.
for the role, let me know. But
No, she's all like, you know, the receptionist, she's Alice.
hmm
You don't know her full name, but like, she tends to like, she really loves like, I don't know, Entertainment Weekly magazine, you know, like she's all like, her head's in the cloud. So if you kind of like go in and, like kind of just slip by her. Like it's very easy. She's not very attentive. She's
oh,
only
okay.
really attentive if you like make a lot of noise as you come in and hit the bell. But otherwise, she's like listening to music on like the her portable CD player
hmm
um and like reading whatever the weekly magazine that she's got is.
Okay. Yeah. Um. So I guess would that be like a flight roll to just like sneak
Yeah,
under the weather? Like, how does it work?
yeah, well, it'll be a flight check. But before we get to the scene at the police
Yeah.
station, I'll pan over to Karen because it's been a minute. So, Karen,
Yeah.
with all this information that's kind of around your head, and the fact that Danny hasn't been very like you've gotten your point across, but like you haven't learned anything new, and you don't think that just by telling one child to stop it, things are gonna go
Yeah.
away.
Um.
Did you ask to speak to the child's manager? That was your
See, that was
mistake.
That
your
was that
mistake,
was
Karen. You need
that
to
was that was my
always speak
flaw.
to their manager.
Um. Shoot. Um. I guess that after confronting Danny, she would go to. I think she's really scared at this point. Because it seems like it seems like people are um or it seems like her kids are getting involved in something she doesn't want them to get involved in.
Yeah,
And I think that she's going to um would be a good place for her to go. Maybe like go and try talking to other parents to see if their kids have been mentioning this name, to see if it's bigger than just
sure.
her kids, to
Um,
just see like how wide this has spread.
yeah. So what kind, like, are you gonna go to like people that you're fairly comfortable talking to, or are you gonna go
Yeah.
to the people that or the parents that like Charles was talking about?
I think she's gonna go to yeah, like her friends, um like who have kids around Charles's age.
Okay,
You know, some close, maybe some that she has maybe made not necessarily great impressions with,
sure,
but she's just trying to get a feel of like, like I think that at her core she is still largely believing that she is hearing this name because she heard her children say it so many times.
sure.
Like
So you know what? We will do it. Let's do a charm roll difficulty of 7 to see if you
7.
can
Okay.
get some of these parents to talk more about, because like this is yeah, this is kind of like bordering on like weird, right?
Okay. So I rolled an 8, which means I get to roll it again, right?
Yes, if you have a D8,
Yeah, my charm is 8.
cool.
So
Yeah.
okay.
So the way this
Ooh.
system works is your max roll explodes, so you keep rolling until you are no longer exploding.
That is 13.
13. Okay, so you did quite a bit higher. Um, that being said, you succeed quite impressively. You managed to converse with some of the parents, and you actually you're not you haven't had a great relationship with Mrs. Workman or Gina Workman in this case.
Mhm.
Um, but she happened as you were going around. There's a local plaza, the Sharpsville Plaza, and there's like kind of this like little mini park that kind of sits behind it, and that's where a lot of like people go on like a Sunday or Saturday afternoon to just kind of hang out. And there's like people walking their dogs, and people are playing like they're throwing the old pig skin at like across the field, and it's fairly lively. But yeah, you see a couple of moms there, and yeah, you bump into Gina, which not a super great experience with her thus far, but she's
Mm-hmm.
still like willing to converse with you. She just kind of, I think the last time you guys talked, like you just said something that wasn't quite to her liking. So, you know, but with that role,
Sure.
she's like, yeah, my Stevie, he's well, I mean, a little bit our fault. We just got AOL America Online. He's been on that all the time, and he's really getting
Well,
into all of this. He really wants this movie from Blockbuster called Army of Darkness. Um, just came out, I think, but kids these days, they're just so hard. Like, and with I barely talk to anyone anymore. With him on the AOL, the phones don't work. So, and we don't have enough to get two separate lines. That's just a lot. So, but yeah, I've heard that name before, Inaru or something.
it's
Maybe,
something like that.
yeah, I think it's one of those. It must be an Army of Darkness or something. He keeps bringing that up. He wants me to keep going to the Blockbuster, but
Hmm.
that movie's rated R, and I don't think he's old enough to watch an R-rated movie. I think he still has time to grow and
Well, I
mature
think
into
that's
a.
certainly correct.
I'm sorry.
I think that's certainly correct. You have to be at least 17 to see one of those films.
Yeah,
So,
and he does say that parents can get these, and I could sit in and watch, but like I'm not interested in a I think it's a zombie movie or I don't know, some kind of,
ugh.
yeah, some kind of boring drivel. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, him and all of his friends have been talking about some kind of weird thing, but I just, kids will be kids, right?
I suppose it was called Army of Darkness. You say?
Yeah, that's the movie that he really wanted to see. I'm
Well, I turn around on my heels and I head to the local
and
Blockbuster.
she see you later, Karen. And yeah, you go to the local Blockbuster.
A
Um,
sentence that you can't say anymore.
it, it,
Exactly, it's a period piece.
this is a
Um,
period piece. And yeah, you see there's this younger, probably high school, like probably 16, 17-year-old uh, girl hanging out at the cash register, and she looks over and she's like, "Oh, hi, how can I help you?" And she can
Hi,
tell she's a little nervous, like she's probably either new at this or doesn't like to necessarily converse. But
I'd like a copy of Army of Darkness, please.
oh no, someone just rented the last one that we have. Do you want me to put you on do you want me to put your number down so we can call you when it comes out or when it comes back in?
You only have one copy of Army of Darkness? This is
No.
absurd.
This is no, we have multiple copies, but it's brand new, and there's a lot of people that wanted to see it.
I mean, I'm just of course. Who was the person who just took out the last copy?
I don't think I'm afraid I can't give you that information, ma'am. That's private.
Well, how about just a name?
I
I don't even know where they live or anything.
so make a make a charm roll, difficulty of 13.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What you're
All right. Well, I
asking her
rolled
to
another
do
8.
is against company policy.
So I rolled an 8, so I explode.
Okay. So you do have a chance.
14.
Wow. All right. So yeah, there's this moment. Also, just so you
I
guys
pull out a
know,
business card and I just like put it on to
and
the desk.
she looks at the card. Oh, oh, thanks. I mean, I guess if I need, and she kind of just like slowly puts it to the side, and she's like, "Look, I can't. I'm not supposed to do this, but like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like just the way you're talking to me, or it's been a rough couple of weeks, just personally. But
Mm-hmm.
look, I think Mrs. Page, um, she rented the last one, I think.
Well, have you seen the film?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I just turned 17. I haven't had time to go see it.
Respectable. I appreciate that. Um.
Is there?
Yes. I don't know. I'm just trying to track it down for some character in it. Some in Inaritu, Inro, Enron, Inaru, something like that.
Ooh, that is a period piece
Top
right there.
topical.
Um, she kind of looks at you funny, and Inaru, that you can tell she's familiar with that term, but she immediately kind of gets quiet and goes, I'm sorry, ma'am. You'll have to talk with Mrs. Page if you're familiar with
Do you
her. If you want to see Army of Darkness, that was the last. That was actually who just left. Um,
do do you recognize that name?
make a charm roll again. Uh, this one's the difficulty is going to be 10. It's not quite illegal, but she is uncomfortable with this
Oh, I'm
life.
talking about Inaru.
Right, right. You still have to make the charm roll.
Okay.
She's uncomfortable with you
Oh, God.
completely. That was to get a name. She's committed a corporate crime right now.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 7,
Okay.
so I didn't.
You did not succeed.
Just take another token, I think.
Yeah, you do take another token.
Oh, solid.
She goes, look, all the local kids are talking about it. I don't really feel comfortable talking about it. Like, I'm sure you could literally walk up to any other kid and ask them, and they'll know. Especially like Brianna or something. Like she's into that kind of stuff, I think.
I keep hearing this Brianna. I don't know if I recognize that
Oh,
name.
Brianna Page. Her mom just came in and ordered Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, yes. Um, well, thank you for your help. Tell your manager that you're doing a fantastic job, and
You want me to tell my manager that I'm doing a fantastic job?
yes, you're doing a fantastic job.
Well,
And
I
That's
appreciate
the
it.
biggest
you.
Karen move. Like just telling someone else to tell their manager for you about a compliment.
Yeah, that might.
I don't have time to wait. My children are watching R-rated movies.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to this live play episode of The One Shot. If you like this and you want to hear more about what we're doing and the shows that we're running besides this, you can go to our website at www.fandomroulette.com. On top of all of the episodes that we kind of do and a kind of a brief description of each show, if you go down to the bottom, you can find our form where you can fill out basically what you would be interested in us tackling next for the one shot or for the other shows that we're doing. If you're on social media, you can follow us on Twitter at fandomr_podcast. That is our Twitter handle. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram if you search Fandom Roulette. Last but certainly not least, Thank you guys so much. Please remember to like, rate, review, subscribe, smash the bell if you're on YouTube, anything that can bring us up the ladders on the various platforms will help us get a wider audience so that we can make this a more permanent thing that we do. Again, thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, stay super nerdy.